You guys might remember I did a video not long ago. It was a friend of mine, and she said she's got some oral issues going on. She had a tooth removed. She might have to, if she had to have all of her teeth removed, the gist of it was she'd go down on me with no teeth. Just to say she's done it, and just so I could say I've done it. And to me, that was very funny. And so I just said, that's the definition of a good friend. That's a really good friend. Well, in this same vein, I got a buddy of mine who has not taken care of his grill, and as his teeth are going out, he's been replacing them. And slow it down with your brain there. My buddy's not gonna blow me. That's not gonna happen. I don't want it to happen. But he's been replacing his teeth. Like I think he's got platinum or silver and gold. And so apparently, the last time we had discussed this, when I was over at his pad, I made a comment like, man, if something happens to you, you kick the bucket, I need your skull. That would just look cool. I don't remember that. That was a off-the-cuff, flippant, funny comment, I thought, and we laughed about it. Well, yesterday I'm talking to him, and another one of his teeth rotted out of his head, and he had to go to the dentist, and they had to extract the roots out and everything else. And he started talking to me about giving me his skull. For real. For real. Like, he's really planning this out. Keep in mind, I'm not a spring chicken here, so I don't know. He does have some diabetes issues and whatnot, so who knows? Maybe he will kick the bucket before I do. So the discussion became, what am I going to do with his skull? And it's not that great. It would totally fit in with my decor. I'm just saying. So what do? You make a lamp out of it. That was my initial comment. I can make a lamp out of it. And then I had this memory of when I was a kid, late 70s, I subscribed to Soldier of Fortune magazine. I don't know how I did that. He was telling me you had to be 18, but I got it. And I was probably just buying them at first. But I know I did get a subscription because when I enlisted in the Marine Corps, I got this job guaranteed that was security forces. And to get the security forces gig, they had to do a background check on you because you had a security clearance. And when I was probably in my 30s, I was back home and I was talking to an ex-girlfriend's mom about life and when I was in high school and everything, and she had known my dad. She told me that the police actually came to her, or I don't know if it was the police department or somebody from the government, but somebody basically came and spoke with her. They had done all this background. They knew I dated her daughter. So they asked about her, and they said it was because of that Soldier of Fortune subscription. So, anyhow, fast forward to my buddy who wants to give me his head. So, not give me head, but give me his skull. So we're talking about that because I remembered as a kid, in the back of Soldier of Fortune magazine, there were ads for genuine human skulls with a Marine Corps K-bar, stuck in it. And I thought that would be the coolest thing to own as a kid. So that's what I said to him. So I could just stick my K-bar in your skull, or maybe put some slots and put a bunch of knives in the skull. Either way, what do you care? You're not going to be here anymore. It's just your skull. So I thought that was funny. But then I started thinking about it after the conversation. I'm like, can you legally leave somebody your skull? Are they going to cut your head off and give it to your family or something if that's what you want? Am I going to have to do it? I'll cut his head off. I'll cut the head off of a body. I'm from New Jersey. It wouldn't be the first time I cut a head off of a body. So, I'm just kind of working this out. Like, how am I going to actually make it happen? But who knows? Like, the condition of his grill is what it is. Like, the teeth probably, I'd have to JB weld all his teeth back into the jawbone and the skull and whatnot, I suppose, for it to have that look. As funny and ridiculous as this sounds, these are real conversations. I'm not making this up. Oh, man. And keep in mind, both of these people are also California kids, like, born and raised in the LA area. So there's nothing off limits in their brain pans, man. Like, anything. You could discuss anything, talk about anything. Anything is a possibility out here. That's just how it is. So if you're sitting in Utah right now, like, oh my God, what's he saying? Yeah, these are real conversations. Oh, real quick, I got a comment on the video from the Sunday night chat. It's got over 1,000 views. That always makes me happy. Thank you. But some guy was like, I don't know what you're talking about with celebrities wanting to get rid of guns or ban any kind of gun. They just want to have the laws enforced. Like, dude, shut up, man. Clearly you didn't research that before you typed it. So I just quickly, it literally took me 10 seconds. Whoopi Goldberg on firearms. Boom. And there's a whole article with her talking about, we got to get rid of the AR-15. You shouldn't have that. You don't need that to hunt. You can have all your other yeehaw guns. And then, I thought, oh, let me just look up Liam Neeson, because I remembered that. And Liam Neeson on firearms, and he thinks that there should be a handgun ban in the United States. So, two things in probably about 30 seconds. It took me to boom, 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 copy, paste, boom, and I could do that all day long. So, with that. And also, I did that, I posted that quick. It's funny when I make one of my watch cuffs and I put the dive watch on it. And I mentioned in that video how I know that irks people. And I got a comment on that. Dive watch on a leather bun? No. Well, who are you, man? Here's the reason I like them. A lot of now this is actually a dive watch. This is I guess they'd call this an SKX. I'm not I'm new to Seiko in a way where I don't know all their product lines, but that's basically what this is. It's a diver. This one was made in Malaysia. It was bought on the island of Guam by an Air Force pilot around the year 2000. And I got this from him, and it was dirty in the dial, and the second hand you'll see is hollow. And it's because the loom fell out of it and the dust was in there. So I took it apart, cleaned it up, and the thing works flawlessly. And it's in really good shape, no scratches or anything. And I made this horsehide Zulu strap, you would call this one, for it. But that 1,000-meter diver, that's a big watch. And these Aragons I get, they're big watches. And the problem is, now, this isn't a big deal. This is a smaller watch. But on a bigger dive watch, it really moves. And when you put it on a Woukd, it locks it to your wrist. So it doesn't move like that. And having a big hunk of metal on your wrist is a thing. And I'm just explaining this again. I feel like I hate explaining myself. But the whole idea with the Woukd was for pilots, because of the atmospheric temperature difference. Like when you're up in the sky, it's super cold and it would freeze to your skin. Or if you were in the desert and the sun's beating on this, it burns your skin. So there's that. So the leather under the watch case is really comfortable. Stylistically, the cuff is cool, man. It's a tough thing. Interestingly, like my buddy Sabo, which is weird. Sabo's got these weird ideas. I've learned to not try to talk him out of the way he's thinking. He's wrong. Like, he didn't wear his watch cuff that I gave him and made for him, because he thinks it makes him look too much like a tough guy, to the point where if he's walking down the street, he's concerned that someone's going to go, what, do you think you're a tough guy? And like start some kind of fight with him. Like, he has that in his brain. That is bizarre to me. That's something I never think about. Never. I don't care what I look like. If I look a certain... Matter of fact, if you're going to ask me what I think about the way I walk around, and if I'm wearing a leather cuff or whatever, my thought process would be, well, if they think it makes me look like some kind of tough... Good. Maybe they're less likely to give me any kind of crap. I just got a text from a guy. I got to check that out. So, anyhow, that's all I'm saying about that. You guys have a good day. What would you do with your friend's skull if he left it to you? Be good to one another. Do a favor for somebody today. Make that phone call you were supposed to make. Call the guy you haven't talked to in a while. Follow through a little bit. And I'll catch you in the next one.